Me back again. I got a very short video today, but also a very serious video to react to today. I'm up top because I don't want to block any vital information that's going to pop up on the screen. Basically, a cyclist was killed because a pedestrian shouted and waved their arms aggressively at the cyclist who was riding on the pavement. And the cyclist swerved to the side and ended up going into the street where the road is, and the cars hit her and she died. So this video is all about accountability and that. And I'm going to play the video and then I'm going to give my thoughts on this situation. Let's get into it. Right. This woman is 49 years old, yeah? Let's just peel this back quickly. Does she look like she's a fucking 49-year-old woman? Or does she look like she's 60 or 70 years old? Fucking hell, fam. But anyway, let's continue, man. It's only literally like 30 seconds. This video is a 1-minute video, isn't it? Right, let me just return to my normal position. Right. So, first and foremost, white people and black people are just different, you know. If the pedestrian, so the woman who is still alive now, that's currently in prison for 3 years, if that white woman was a black woman, she wouldn't have said nothing. See, white people are just different to black people now. White people will think they can go around and tell people, get off the pavement because you're cycling and that. Although she's not hurting anybody by cycling and that. Put your fucking mask on and that. Blood, just shut the fuck up, blood. This is the problem, yeah? White people love to go around and tell people when they're doing wrong and that. Bro, if it's not committing no serious crimes and that, or it's not hurting you, but just shut the fuck up and go about your day, blood. You see, if that woman there did close her ass clout mouth, the old woman would still be alive and that woman would not be in jail. But some people feel like they can just go around and tell people what to do because other people are in the wrong. Just because someone else is in the wrong, that don't mean you need to tell them, you know. But anyway, that woman shouldn't have been cycling on the pavement. She knows full well that cyclists are not allowed to be on the pavement. You see, we have to adopt the mindset of taking accountability. Most people don't have the mindset of taking accountability. So most people will watch that clip and think, yeah, it's the pedestrian's fault why the woman swerved her bike into the road and got hit by an oncoming car. But I have the mindset of accountability. And I think to myself, no, that woman shouldn't have been on the pavement. At the same time, that woman there, the pedestrian, needs to take accountability for opening up her ass clout mouth. If you open up your mouth and act aggressive in that, you need to be held accountable for your actions in that. You see, a lot of people want to be able to shout and curse and that and not, you get me, be held accountable or feel the consequences to their actions and that. But at the same time, that cyclist woman there, if let's say, for example, there was an afterlife and she was looking down on the situation and that, reviewing the situation, she would have to take some accountability and think to herself, do you know what, yeah, although that woman shouldn't have said nothing to me, she shouldn't have shouted at me, she shouldn't have quote unquote scared me and that, I shouldn't have been on the fucking pavement. Because the pavement is for pedestrians only, people that are walking and possibly people who are running. The reason why it's not good, it's all right for people who are running on the pavement because they can quickly slow down. If you're on a bike, it's harder to slow down as opposed to if you're running and obviously walking in that. The reason why they put these little stupid rules in place, so people think that it's just cycling on the pavement. That blood. Certain times, yeah, they put these little rules and regulations in place to protect everybody. A cyclist could lick down a child. Imagine, yeah, a cyclist is riding on the pavement. This is where I'm saying that the rules and that are put in place to protect everyone. A cyclist could be riding on the pavement, and a little child could emerge from behind a small wall. Imagine the wall is like 3 foot tall. A small little toddler that's able to walk and that could emerge from behind the wall, and the cyclist could run over the little child and kill the little child. Obviously, why the fuck is the picnic not with the parents, innit? But at the end of the day, you're the one that's not supposed to be on the pavement, so no one's trying to hear, oh, why wasn't the child with the parents? Me, I would think to myself, well, why wasn't the child with the parents anyway? Because I'm telling you, even when I walk down the road, my little sister, she is right by my rascal outside, and my little sister's 11 years old, much less when she was fucking 4 or 5 years old. So they put these little rules and regulations in place to protect everybody, just like being at the fucking traffic lights. The traffic lights are there to protect the pedestrians and also protect the car drivers and that. So that if when you cross the road, when the man displays green at the pedestrian traffic lights and that, if you cross the road when the man is displayed green to say go, if a driver runs you over and it's displayed red when the drivers are supposed to be stationary or not driving, then that's your protection, because you was doing what you're supposed to do. You was the one that was supposed to be and allowed to cross the road, and if a driver runs you over, it's the driver's fault. Similarly, if you decide to run across the street when the traffic lights display red, when the man on the traffic lights displays red, as in do not cross, and the traffic lights are green for the drivers and that, if you get run over, it's not the driver's fault, it's your fault. You should have adhered, you should have abided by what the fucking traffic light man displayed. It said red, as in do not go for pedestrians. If you decide to run across the road and get licked down, that's your fault, blood. But we have this entitled mentality. I see it all the time. I'll be driving my car, I'll be approaching a zebra crossing, and I'll see a pedestrian just step out. Whoa, 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 whoa. See me, I don't have some entitled mentality where just because I'm at a zebra pedestrian crossing and a car's approaching, I'm just going to step out on the road. No, I don't think like that. Some people might be on the phone. So, listen, if I'm at a zebra crossing and I see a car approaching, if I step out, that means that even if that car did not want to brake and stop, I could get out of the way. Unless a man's really going to swerve into me. And I don't know what the driver's on. Why am I relying on someone to keep me safe? A man might want to lick down black people that day. No, I'm not taking no chances in that. I see all the time. I'm approaching a zebra crossing, that man will just step out. No. You wait until that car stops. But again, we have this entitled mentality. Oh, I'm at a zebra crossing, so I'm just going to step out onto the road and that car has to stop. What if a man's brakes fail? What if a man want to lick down people today? Yeah, you got a duty of care to look after your rascal self. I see it all the time. You seen them fucking videos and that women just push the pram out into the street and that on the pedestrian crossing. What are you doing? You're relying on someone else to keep you safe and your youth safe. Again, we have this entitled mentality. We don't take accountability in that. I'm gonna tell you something right now. As an experienced motorbike rider, I've been on the road since I was fucking 14 years old. Consistently for the last decade of my life. Consistently. But even man was riding bikes, mopeds and them things there 6 years prior in it. So man's been on the road like a solid 16, 15 years and that. I'm telling you right now, yeah, a lot of my motorbike riders, yeah, when they get into accidents and that, they will always say, oh yeah, it was the driver's fault and that. They will never admit, I'm telling you, me personally, anytime I've got into any little close calls or whatever in it, yeah, it was always usually my fault. 9 times out of 10, it was my fault. Let me tell you something. If you're not sticking to the speed limit on that road, it is your fault. If you're on a 60 road and you're doing 65, well, then it's partly your fault. See, man, them will be on motorbikes and that, and they will get licked down, and they'll be on a 70 road doing the speed limit at that time. So they're on a 70 road and they're doing 70 and that, and they'll get licked down by a car and that. But they didn't tell you about what happened 5 minutes ago. They didn't tell you that 5 minutes ago, they was doing 110 with that front wheel up in the air. You see, if they didn't do that 110 with that front wheel up in the air 5 minutes ago, they wouldn't have been at that point in the street at that time to have that collision. Then man, they forget that part, blood. You've got to take fucking accountability in that. It's just the same thing with all this mistaken identity and that. It's bullshit, blood. The families of the deceased always love to say mistaken identity, mistaken identity, mistaken. Bro, for the most part, it is not mistaken identity. 9 times out of 10, it's not mistaken identity. Do you know how I know it's not mistaken identity? How comes a Jehovah's Witness? How comes a doctor, a lawyer, or a fucking neuroscientist? How comes none of these people end up getting killed? How comes these people don't end up getting murdered by people they don't know by accident and that? Why is it always youths off the road that it's mistaken identity and that? It's the family fucking lying to the people. A man got licked down by the fucking police years ago. And I remember when I was watching the Post interview and that, they went to the guy's baby mum's yard and she said, my partner was never involved in any gang activity. He got shot by the police because he was suspected to have a gun and that. And the police killed him because they suspected he had a gun. And they done an interview with his missus weeks later, whatever. And she said, my partner was never involved in any gang activity. When everyone knows that guy was fucking one of the toppest man them in his area and that. But what are you talking about, blood? She doesn't want to take accountability in that because she knows that people will believe and know he had it coming to him. The reason why when people get licked down and that, they always say it's mistaken identity in that because no one wants to admit, you know what, more than likely this person had it coming to them. I saw a little video, there's something floating around in the news right now. 4 black people got killed in Mexico. 3 man, 1 gal. They're trying to say, it's some mistaken identity thing, or they got caught up in some cosmetics. They was trying to do some cosmetics business, and the Mexican cartel or whatever in it killed them for no reason. Bullshit. I guarantee you, I fucking guarantee you, I'll put money down on it. I guarantee you, them black people there were probably trying to smuggle some drugs, or they were in some dodgy dealings in Mexico. Why the fuck would Mexicans want to kill four black people? What the fuck for? When you see the picture of these people, you know, a picture can tell you a lot. The way someone looks can tell you a lot about them, you know. They don't, listen, let me tell you something, yeah. These 3, how many black brothers you know that are into cosmetics and that? These 3 black brothers and this black gal and that just look like any old trash off the street. The local, they're from Compton or they're from fucking Chicago and that. They were not into no cosmetics business, blood. More like narcotics. But again, the family want to lie and say that it was mistaken identity, and there was no fucking mistaken identity. Them lot were involved in some dodgy dealings and that. Why the fuck would you, as a black person, why would you go in Mexico to be trading, doing business? The fucking Mexicans want to go to America to do business. There ain't no business in Mexico. The only business is illegal activity. The only business is drugs. I guarantee you, they was caught up in some drug business and that, and they got pitched. And then the family don't want to admit they had what was coming to them, unfortunately. You've got to take accountability in that. None of these motorbike riders seem to want to take accountability for why they have these accidents and that. Because, God forbid, someone says, you know what, it was my fault, you know. Nah, someone's always trying to look to point the finger and blame someone else, innit? And this is why black people want to fucking rut that they're in, blood. Because they don't want to admit, you know what, yeah? Black oppression, this quote-unquote fictitious, in my opinion, it's fictitious. This black oppression thing is not real. And it's only me who determines whether I'm going to be successful or not. Not the white man, not the government, not the police. They don't want to take accountability in that because then it's down to them to fix their problem. They want to assume, they want to allow, quote unquote, someone else to be in charge of their life and that. So they don't have the pressures of fixing their life themselves. Like I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I would love to give you 2 realities in that. This Jay Wise that you know, who's doing well for himself, and then another Jay Wise, where he wouldn't be Jay Wise because he'd be Jay Stupid, Jay Wasteman, who believes in black oppression, who believes that the white man is here to put him down. The white man doesn't want him to succeed. I guarantee you I would not have the properties that I've got right now. I would not be living comfortably. I would still be in Edmonton in my mum's yard. Or, unfortunately, living at a girl's yard. Sitting there walking on eggshells and that. Because she might kick me out and I might have to go back to my mum's yard and that. So that's it, man. So back to the original point with the woman shouting at the pedestrian and that. You know, she should have just kept her fucking mouth shut. I tell you, these white people love to go around and you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But just shut the fuck up, blood. Mind your own business. If that was a black person, if a black person sees someone riding on the pavement, they will just move out of the way. Unless someone's riding like a fucking maniac, they might say something. But it was an old woman, so she ain't gonna be doing no fucking speed, innit? She should have just moved over to the side and that's it. Kept her mouth shut, focused on the end goal, focused on some sort of plan and mission that she's got for the day. But more than likely, that woman there is probably going to the food bank because, well, just look at her. She hasn't made nothing of herself. Let me show you. Let me show you just in case you forget how she looks. Does that look like a woman of high value? Yeah? I mean, that don't look like no woman of high value to me, you know? So, again, you know, when you're a person of value and that, you ain't got time to be getting involved and chatting shit to people over nothing. And just go about your damn business, innit? But again, you know, that woman there should have shut her mouth and went about her business. And that old woman shouldn't have been on the fucking pavement and that because you're not supposed to be riding on the pavement for a fucking reason. Yes, you might have good reaction time, but the speed that you're traveling, that riding a bicycle on the pavement and that, you might not have enough time to brake and not hurt someone. And plus, if you're running down the street, let's say you're running, because I'll go running. If I'm running down the street, if I bump into someone, yeah, more than likely, it's not going to cause them as much damage than if a piece of metal, if you get struck by a piece of metal. You understand what I'm trying to say? Certain bikes have forks on it. You know, like the horns look like a fucking, like the deer horns or something, like antelope horns or something like that. Imagine that clips a little child in its face and that. Gonna bust its forehead open and that. So, at the end of the day, if that woman did not ride on the pavement, she would be here today, innit? So, you know, if there's an afterlife and the woman is watching, she needs to take accountability for her own death. Like I said, these people that are just, they feel entitled when they're walking down the street. Oh, I'm just going to step out onto the pedestrian crossing, although there's a speeding car coming. Nah, fam. Who gives a shit about whether or not you've got right of way to cross the road and that? Yeah, you say that when you're fucking 6 foot under. Yeah, the other person's going to be in jail, but fuck them. You're going to be dead, blood. All that you've worked for has gone down the drain just because you felt entitled and that. But most people have nothing to live for because most people don't work for nothing, innit? Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Done, though.